Gordon Ramsay. I suppose, unless you've been living under a rock, in a cave, have not watched television in, I suppose, the US or the UK or Ireland, you may not know who Gordon Ramsay is. Now, you might know someone called Gordon Ramsay, but the one I'm talking about is the chef. I'm going to use the word celebrity chef. I'm not sure if that's the correct word or correct description of the chef that he is. He's obviously a very well-trained, very experienced chef, but that isn't enough, is it? That's not enough to be on television. I mean, it's a bit like being a geek, isn't it? It's a bit like the industry I'm in, and technology and Unix and things like that. Yeah, you're not the best person to promote the subject. But Gordon Ramsay, I think, is. He's an interesting character. I think a lot of his work, his popular work, revolves around his quite brash approach, his swearing, and a few other personality traits that you don't really get a lot. I think most celebrity chefs are quite amicable and quite nice, and they're quite happy to show you how to do things. And they very rarely swear. I'm thinking of the likes of Jamie Oliver, Delia Smith, Fanny Craddock. Yeah, they're always very nice and very helpful, and they're very good at describing things and how to do things. And yeah, it's all good. But Gordon Ramsay is something else. And I wonder, I think it's very admirable if you can live your life without swearing. My feeling around swearing is it's a bit like a superstition. It's like some people are offended over certain words being used. They find them very powerful. I don't like them to be used. I think there's other words in the English language, but swear words are in the English language, and they're part of the language. And I think there is a time and a place for all words, not just swear words. But some people get offended, and I'm not sure. Yeah, that's okay if that's your thing, but I think you can still say something intelligent and have some swear words in there. And I do realise that some of my episodes have swearing in them, and that has meant that I think I come under explicit in terms of iTunes, if they ever approve me for iTunes, that is. I don't think I say any topic that I consider to be explicit or offensive in that sense. And in terms of swearing, it's part of the language and it's part of the culture. So for me, provided it's not a continuous stream of swearing for effect, I think it's just part of how we talk. And in Ireland, there is a certain level of swearing in the language, that's used day to day. And the same with Gordon Ramsay, in the sense that he doesn't just swear really for effect, but there's part of the emotion involved, and he's very passionate about what he does. He's very passionate about food being prepared right. He's very passionate about stuff looking good and tasting good. He's very passionate, and I think it comes down to passion. And he has a habit of having a go at people. I was watching a program the other day. I think it was on his YouTube channel. And it was an excerpt from one of his programs in America. And I think it's just a group of would-be chefs. Some who were like a chef day to day, some who did it part-time, some who were teaching people to cook. And they're always having a stab at this competition. I don't know what the prize was, or I've forgotten. Doesn't really matter. But Gordon Ramsay had two tables, one on each side of him, a round table. On each of the tables was like a silver platter with a silver dome covering it. And he literally would spin the table, whatever, pick up one of these lids, lift it up, and say, "Whose is this?" And you know what? Every so often you get one, and he really liked it, and he didn't hesitate by saying it was good. He might be critical of the appearance. I think that's something I struggle with cooking, is to making it look good. And he was also critical of some of the people who he considered produced rubbish. And what I would say is, these people are wannabe professional chefs, so they need to be able to take this level of criticism. You could argue he's very brash and whatever, but I think in the industry, chefs can be a bit that way in a kitchen. I think that is a theme that I've heard. I've never worked, thank God, in a kitchen in that sort of high-pressure environment. But he's got very high standards when it comes to cooking, and very high standards on presentation, and very high standards on how people behave and how they do things. And yeah, so I like that, I mean, I know people might go, oh, well, you shouldn't humiliate people, you shouldn't have a go at them, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. No, you shouldn't, should you really? Wouldn't life be horrible if we lived our lives not wanting to upset people, not wanting to offend people, not wanting to live? And I think he's not mean and nasty for the sake of it. He has a very good point about things. You know, he's at the top of his game. Not only is he at the top of his game professionally as a chef, but he also has an ability, a skill to convey this across. And I really enjoy watching him cook. And sometimes when he's showing how to cook things, he's so full of energy and he's bouncing around. You can see the passion that he has in being a chef and the food that he makes. And yeah, I really enjoy watching Gordon Ramsay. And if he ever told me to fuck off, I think I'd feel a little bit honoured.